What is up, everyone? As usual, if you hear noise in the background, it's because I'm not permitted peace throughout the weekend. I hope this shirt is slimming because I am like, I've been trying to lose weight lately. I've been trying to control how I eat, and that is not true. I have not gotten enough money to buy the food that I want, so I have been buying cheaply, and it's been kind of limited. The fact that everything is so expensive right now is really starting to frustrate and annoy me a little bit because I work for what? I've been working for years. I've been working for more than half my life, and I still can't afford the place to live and or food and gas. I have to sacrifice between groceries, gas, and rent. I'm trying not to get too frustrated there because it's annoying. It's really annoying. Like, why is everything so expensive? It makes no sense. Like, we really just like the only. It's really kind of ridiculous that the majority of the money is going to rich people, and America is in debt, and the people who are suffering the most are poor people. It's just, it's like it's almost like it's done on purpose. It's wild to me. I don't know. The fact that I've been working for more than half my life and I can't afford a place to live because you don't work I don't work a good job. I just work a regular job or a low job or whatever, or a regular 9 to 5, which I think is really stupid. It's like the fact that I've been working these jobs for more than half my life, but George Santos can just lie his way into the House of Representatives. It just really stresses me out. I need to I haven't sat down and paid attention to all the lies this dude told, but why would you lie about being part of the Hannah Montana show? What's up with that? Why is that a thing? Like, I'm not saying that being part of the Hannah Montana show isn't a flex. I'm not saying that the show is like. I'm not saying because it still qualifies. You were involved in show business in some fashion. But I don't think that there's anybody who's going to be looking at the House of Representatives and look at a picture of George Santos and go, "I think that guy used to be on Hannah Montana." Imagine being in the room when he said that. Like, just imagine being the biggest fan of, like, one of the biggest fans of the Hannah Montana show and hearing him say, "Hey, I was actually part of the Hannah Montana show." And you could just be like, "You liar! Why would you lie about that?" Like, what is that about? This past week, I have been hyper fixated on George Santos. It's just, it just trips me out specifically that this guy has gotten, like, he's gotten like so bad at like who he is as a person that somehow like he's managed to somehow like ascend above the stereotypical politician and lie more than them. Now you got other politicians like, this dude's a liar, dude. Like, it trips me out to no extent. It's like it's like a robber going over to another robber and going, "Dude, you're robbing way too much." It just blows my mind. I've been kind of hyper fixated on this guy because it's like now it feels like the obvious reason why he's in office right now is to sort of take away like a lot of attention from the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Paul Gosar, Matt Gaetz, Andy Biggs and all those other people and all those other and House and Kevin McCarthy. It's like, it's really kind of stressing me out a little bit that like these people are the scum of the earth, right? And they can probably afford a place to live. I'm not gonna say that I'm perfect. You know what I'm saying? I have my flaws. I'm a dirty man that's just trying to clean myself up ultimately. But like, these are people who are dirty. They swim in the dirt. They live in the dirt. They eat the dirt. They breathe the dirt. And they are getting things that they want. And I will probably suffer if I buy some eggs. Wow, man. It's wild to me. I wanted to talk about a little something I wanted to kind of make a WordPress article about at some point. I call it weaponizing context, where people don't like being specific about stuff that they want. People don't like being specific. Period. Nowadays, like I think the biggest problem is that like we are hyper fixated on stuff being obvious and common sense, and we have this belief that everybody envisions the same concept in the same exact way. So when you say something, people are supposed to immediately understand what it means. And this applies to a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times stuff do be obvious, but most of the times it don't. Like for example, dating. You know? Like dating. If you haven't noticed, I've kind of gone a little bit been doing a lot of discussions about like, masculinity and femininity and gender and stuff like that. And the big reason why is because, I'm part of these Facebook dating groups, so to speak. It's not because I'm looking for anybody. Me and my girlfriend are not in trouble or anything like that. But I was in there when I was single, and I just haven't gotten the heart to get out of it yet. But I probably should, because now these dating groups are starting to go from people talking about what they want in a partner and people trying to like sort of market themselves to basically people just griping about the opposite gender. And it's really stressing me out because one of the big, first off, I don't believe in masculinity and femininity. I've already said this many times. I don't believe in these concepts because I believe that they're made up, because nobody can tell me specifically what these things are. And I hate the fact that in this society nowadays, when it comes to dating, everything is obvious. You know what I'm saying? Like guys can be like, I'm a masculine man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what does that mean? You know what it means. No, I don't. Please explain this. Well, I'm not a feminine man. What does that mean? Well, that means I don't act like a woman. How do women act? Talk, bro. Specify. Use context. Like don't use context. Specify. And then other guys be coming up like, bro, if you don't understand what that means, then you shouldn't be asking. You should just be looking it up. I am looking it up. Asking an expert qualifies as research. What? It's just like, and I when it comes to the gender discussion as far as masculinity and femininity is concerned, as much as I don't want to sound like dudes on the internet, I blame women for that. I do. Like, I feel like maybe there was, like, at some point in the 1930s, there was probably, like, some kind of survey going on, like, hey, ladies, what kind of man do you want? And, like, women were like, I want me a real man. I want me a real masculine man. I want me a real manly man. And guys came up out of nowhere. It was like, I'm a manly man. And, like, women were like, no, you're not. And guys was like, yes, I am. And it's like, well, what makes you manly? It's like going, well, I am physically fit and I have facial hair. And then it's just kind of like trickle. And this conversation probably could have been like in the 1920s, 1910s, 1930s or whatever. And then it just ultimately kind of just went full circle here nowadays. So now these things that nobody can actually specify what they actually are have now just became so obvious, but nobody can say what they are. Like, one of my favorite things is when they say, a guy knows how to handle, a guy knows how to provide for themselves and provide for their families, which makes sense. I totally get that. But when a woman does it, are they a dude all of a sudden? Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's weird. Because, like, I always say it's a lot like the whole how to be black concept. Because it's like, if you had a book on how to be black, right? Who's going to buy that book? White people. So it's like, if white people get the book on how to be black, you know what I mean? And they do everything that the book says. Are they black now? It's a lot like that with the gender discussion. It's like going, I feel like, it shouldn't be I feel like you shouldn't apply more to certain concepts that are just concepts that you were essentially born with. You know what I mean? Well, then what about the trans discussion? Trans people can be whatever they want, in my opinion. I'm not gonna tell a trans person what gender they are. I'm only gonna respect their wishes. And if they wanna say that they are what they are, who am I to disagree with that? You know what I'm saying? It's just a weird concept. Well, what about transracial? It's like, I don't know these people enough. I don't know anybody enough to say if they are what they are. All I can do is just go off of what they say. I'm not going to tell somebody what they're not. You know what I'm saying? Now, I will say, I don't, maybe I don't understand the concept. I wouldn't know why anybody would want to be a different race. But if you feel that way, I guess, whatever. You want to say that you're a cat? Whatever, dude. You're a cat. I'm not gonna deny that. It's just like it's a weird thing because like there's this annoying need to kind of like just sort of push your identity into further concepts and what they are. It's like I would rather just people just say I am me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, nobody can say that you're not you. But that's neither here nor there. Whatever. It's wild to me though, man. It is weird. Anybody else familiar with the whole civil war that America was trying to start because drag queens were reading, books to kids? Which, in my opinion, like, I was a kid before, so I think I'm going to speak for all those. I think I'm going to speak for the kids when I say there's absolutely no way that a drag queen is going to manipulate your child into altering their sexuality or whatever. I'm pretty sure most of those kids just see somebody in costume. You know what I mean? They're just seeing a person in costume reading a story, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? For those people out there who are constantly seeing this concept as something that's terrible, it's weird to me because it's like going, oh no, they're gonna turn our kids into drag queens too, and it's like going, dude, stop. It's like if you think that, then you're probably trying to become a drag queen. Like, calm down, buddy. Speaking of drag queens, George Santos or Antonin Devoder or what is it, Katara Ravish or something? Whatever, man. At this point now, one thing I will say is you don't trust anybody who went by an alias. Because it's either one or two things: either witness protection or they doing some terrible stuff. Like one thing you can say about Donald Trump, and I don't like giving Donald Trump compliments here, is that like when he does his stupid bad things, he uses his name. You know what I mean? He uses his name, his signature. There's no chance of Donald Trump being known as another name because if he was, the comedians would have gotten on that not too long ago. Just point that out there. It's just wild to me. This past week was wild though. This past week was ridiculous, and I don't even remember most of it. And the reason why is because I'm tired and I'm frustrated. And if you listened to my podcast earlier, I'm a little bummed out actually. I'm trying to be in good spirits right now. So there's that. Whew, man, I cannot believe that eggs cost that much money. I cannot believe that things are costing that much money now. It's just like, it's wild to me because like the people who don't suffer from this are the rich. Like, I'm not trying to, set a war against the rich people, but when do they get the thing? When do they get some kind of something? Like Elon Musk is scum. And that dude can like afford to buy whatever he wants. Like Twitter. Meanwhile, I know people like who are true blue, decent human beings, and they are just struggling to pay rent. You know what I mean? Like what's up with that? What's up? Let's start there. Let's have that discussion. All right then, love, peace, and happiness to everyone, and be safe out there.